Good morning, everybody. Alex StarCraft here, bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary between Goody, the purple Protoss on the 2 o'clock position, I suppose, and viOLet, the yellow Korean Zerg in the 8 o'clock-ish position. I am very excited because this is my first morning cast that I'm bringing you guys. It is actually 12:02 in the afternoon currently, but I don't care because when I was first trying to make this cast, it was indeed the morning time, and it just takes a few minutes to get everything up and running, like loading StarCraft. But anyway, this is just going to be a nice little game between viOLet, a rather kind of little known but quite good Korean Zerg player named viOLet, and Goody, I don't actually know what team he's on. I guess it could be like Escape, but somehow I doubt that's it. And he's a player, he's actually known for having a very heavy mech style. He actually goes mech in almost every matchup, or at least definitely against Zergs. Of course, that's usually the games I watch. So that's a very interesting thing to see. It'll be interesting to see how his meching playstyle goes up against viOLet, who of course would be so used to that biomech, the marine siege tank kind of style that is usually used against Zerg. So he does have this drone in here just scouting around. He does see the gas timing, which for those of you that don't know, gas timings are actually extremely important to scout for Terran, because that is essentially what determines what build they will be going. If they're going for no gas, they could be going for a whole bunch of Marines, or they'll probably be going for something more like a 1-Rax expand. And if they have 1 gas, it could mean a whole bunch of different things, really. It could potentially mean Hellions, it could mean some sort of timing push, just any kind of standard play. And then 2 gas can mean something like very fast Hellions, 2-port Banshee, something kind of ridiculous like that the Zerg kind of needs to be concerned about. But we do see viOLet doing the gas block, which of course lets him know not only, oh, he's not getting this gas, but he also will have this drone in Goody's base for just a little bit longer, which will let him scout out even more. Of course, now this drone is never going to escape because the supply depot is raised, so very sad. But we do have the hatch first coming down from viOLet. We have this pool soon following that. So far, everything's going very standard. Now, viOLet knows anything about Goody, which he probably does. He will know that he doesn't actually really have to worry about anything like a 2-Rax. Again, Goody is known for his mech style, nothing different. And so we do have the tech lab down on the barracks, and we actually have a Reaper coming out. Now, this is something that you actually don't see that often versus Zerg anymore, just because it can be held pretty easily as long as the Zerg can micro correctly. And we do see we have the 2 queens on the way. As soon as that is done, the Reaper will be totally ineffective, but we do actually have a bunker going down on the high ground from Goody. And so viOLet is making a good number of Zerglings, and he's trying to save his drone, seeing if he can get the surround. But of course, just a little bit of micro on that, on the Reaper, will save it from any of those drones or Zerglings. Off of creep, Reaper can actually outrun Zerglings without speed or drones more or less indefinitely. And actually, it looks like the bunker is going to complete. It does indeed manage to get inside. And Goody's actually running the SCV because he knows if that dies, he can be in a lot of trouble. Of course, it does just get sniped by those Zerglings right there. And it looks like this Reaper's going to have 2-3 Zergling kills. He runs it away, doesn't manage to get the salvage off on the bunker. So that really did not do a whole lot of damage. And meanwhile, this Overlord running for its life to the high ground because Marines can't actually see up at all. Unfortunately, he's bringing this barracks, which will give him sight of the high ground. Wow, this Overlord's really hiding. But this barracks coming up, giving sight of the high ground, which will maybe allow the Marines to shoot it down. I'm not sure if they can actually reach it. They'll probably be able to, though. We actually have viOLet moving out with a lot of Zergling speed just finished. We'll have to see. It doesn't look like Goody actually has a whole lot. He has maybe 2 Marines that are totally out of position. Oh, this Overlord's just gonna die. We have 2 Marines that are totally out of position, but we actually don't have any other units. We have a Hellion on the way. We actually do have a finished command center. But these Zerglings will be forced to retreat just because even though there's only 2 Marines, in the time it would take them to break down all of this, 2 Marines can do a lot of damage. So now it looks like we're just going to be transitioning into a bit of a macro mode. We do see the Blue Flame, or the Infernal Pre-Igniter, as well as the Hellions on the way, as in addition to the starport. And from viOLet, we really just see drones, and he's opting to go for the Roach route, which is a really good way to deal with the Hellions, as opposed to what many players will do, where they'll get the Spine Crawlers. Of course, the Spine Crawler is very good. The Roaches, though, they're a little more mobile, of course, because they can actually move. And they're a lot better for if you want to put some pressure back on the Terran player, if you want to be able to totally deny that map control that the Hellions grant. Now, we do actually have a little skirmish going down here. All the Zerglings are really low health, but it looks like they actually are going to get both of the Hellions. Very unfortunate for Goody that he did not actually manage to do any damage with those. And so right now, again, everything just coming very standard. I say viOLet definitely has the advantage right now, just because well, Goody is getting this command center up, which is good for him, but we saw that Reaper didn't really do any damage, nor did those Hellions. They didn't really do anything. We actually have a Baneling Nest on the way too from viOLet right now. He actually has 9 Roaches on the field and 16 more Zerglings on the way. This could be really bad for Goody, because usually as Zerg, if you're doing something like this, if you're making this many units this early in the game when you only have 36 drones, that's a sign of some pretty big aggression. Normally you'll see Zergs will just sit back and macro, but when you're doing something like this, you need to do damage, and it looks like he probably will. We've got 9 Roaches and 22 Zerglings against 7 Marines, 2 Hellions, a Medevac, and there's actually a siege tank out, but there's no siege mode. And we actually have the double armory on the way from Goody. Now, that is not going to help him very much in this situation. So we do actually have the Roaches able to almost 3-shot this bunker right there. Bunker goes down, the Zerglings flooding in, and he does manage to get the supply depot up. It looks like they will be able to kill that pretty quickly, and we see the siege tank actually doing a good amount of work, but he actually doesn't have as many units as he would need to hold this off. And so Goody throws out the GG, and viOLet leaves, as well as the many spectators. But anyway, that's a nice short little game showcasing some great aggression from viOLet. And I hope everyone enjoyed my first morning cast, and I hope everyone here has a wonderful afternoon and a wonderful evening.